all the way to the Boston downtown area. There's a lot of things going on. I just see there's people out here doing the very best that they can do, and I am trying to get the very much resources that I can need to protect myself and do the very best that I can with the very limited resources that I do have. So, like I said before in my previous YouTube video, I just want to go ahead and forewarn you guys that just because there is an epidemic, a pandemic out there, do not be afraid of going to the emergency room, going to the hospital, your local doctor, your local clinic, and getting the emergency care that you do need. It's very important for you guys if you're going through a situation in your life, any kind of situation, that you just take precaution and you do the very best that you can with what resources you have. And even though there may be a precaution about going to hospitals, and you may be a little bit worried and timid about, I'm afraid of the doctors, I'm afraid about them quarantining me. Well, that's their job. They have a job to do, but at the same time, it's your life. Your life is in your hands. You have to protect your own life. And if you are an emergency, a life or death situation, you're having a heart attack, you're having asthma, you're having breathing problems, you have a high fever, a high temperature, your face is all over flushing, as well as you're going through sexual domestic violence, you're being abused, sexually or mentally or physically, you're being physically abused by somebody, and the hospital is your only place of safety, please go to the hospital, or even the local EMS or the fire department. The fire department are always ready and willing and available. They just have as much, if not, they have as much, if not the same resources as the local police department. The fire department can be there in an emergency whenever you need to. So if you can't reach the hospital or the police department, go to your local fire department, and they'll be able to help you assist you with whatever kind of resources you're in need of. Sometimes the fire guys are a little bit more friendlier than the police department and the hospital. So again, I've been going through a lot of things here lately, and I've been trying to approach myself and do the very best I can with the resources. And yes, I have been updated on what trying to refresh myself on what Cuomo is doing in New York State. Now, Governor Cuomo has a bit of a riffraff with New York Mayor DeBilasio. Pretty much what I've heard or what I've read in the news, especially in the Daily News, New York Daily News, New York Daily Sun, is that it is up to the authority of the New York City mayor to close down New York City schools, including New York City colleges as well as New York City elementary schools. Now, Governor Andrew Cuomo has a riffraff about this because he don't think that Bill Blasio, the mayor of New York City, has the authority and the power to close down public schools for the rest of the semester. So I've been reading about that, and as you guys know, I've been asking the question all over town, all over the New York State Capitol, and the New York City mayors, the Federal Plaza in New York City. My question is, my primary question is this. So if any of you guys have visited New York City Hall, not Times Square, not the Fashion District, not Wall Street, if any of you guys have visited New York City Federal Plaza Square in New York City, the Federal Plaza, all those buildings in New York City are federal buildings. All those buildings in New York City are federal buildings. Okay, they're all federal. Everything's federal. The New York State Federal Judicial Building, that's a federal building. The New York State Department of Health, that's a federal building. That's federal. That's not the state. That's not the city of New York. That's not the state of New York. That's actually the United States Department of Health, located in New York City. That's actually the United States federal judicial system, located in New York City. Okay, so those are all federal buildings. They even have a federal jail. They actually have a federal prison in New York City. So it's not the New York City State Jail. It's not the New York City Jail. It's actually the United States Department of Prisons in New York City. So all of those buildings in New York City are in the City Hall Plaza Square are federal buildings. Now, here's my question. If you go to the New York State Capitol in Albany, New York, and you go to the Capitol and you meet all your legislators, the senators, the congressmen, the assembly people, all the representatives of the state of New York, And those buildings that they reside in, and those buildings that they work in, all those buildings are state funded and state secured buildings. So all the buildings in Albany are state associated buildings by the state of New York. So the Capitol building in Albany is called the state of New York Capitol building. It's not the state of New York Federal building. It's the state of New York Capitol building. So now here's my question. Okay, I know you guys you probably already know what I'm going to talk. Probably already know what I'm going to ask. You probably are. I probably already get where I'm going with this. Okay, so in Albany, the capital of New York, okay, all those representatives are state representatives. And I researched this every single day I went to the Capitol. I met most of, if not all, the 100 senators and all the 150, 200 assembly people in Albany. I usually met with them or had eye contact with every single one of them. I can give me a list of all the representatives, and I can probably tell you who and where I met this person or received them. So anyway, so you probably already get my gist of where I'm going with this. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so you have the borough representatives. Okay, those are borough representatives. Those are representatives of the state of New York, okay? And then you have the senators. And the senators in Albany are representatives of the state of New York, not of the United States Department of Justice. The senators, United States senators in Albany, New York, are state representatives. The only federal representatives in the state of New York are located in their each individual district that they reside in. I actually had to keep asking this question over and over and over again. Where are the United States representatives in the state of New York? They're actually located in their own representative. Now here we go. Okay, so in Albany, the capital of New York is state property, that is state land. In Albany, the capital of New York, in Albany, New York, that is state funded, state representatives, state secured, state police officers, state police, all that is state in the capital. Now in New York City, it is federal. That is crazy how a city so big can have such a more powerful influence over its own representative and over its own capital. So in my opinion, I'm sure you guys already probably know where I'm going with this. It can actually be that Mayor DeBilasio actually has more authority than the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo himself. That's why Andrew Cuomo signed the tri-state agreement with the 3 different states in order to make sure that the federal funding, that the agreement with this coronavirus can actually be established between all the 3 states that have so much influence over New York City. It's not just New York State. You can imagine how much of an influence New York City and New York has an influence, not just over its territories, that the states that surround it, but over the whole entire world. So actually, if anything happens in New York City, not just 9/11, not just a war, if anything happens in New York City, number one, it's going to affect the whole world. That's why the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, has to actually tell the mayor of New York City to let's settle this. Let's figure out where our jurisdiction lies. Let's figure out who has the power of what and what can be done about this. Especially now you guys know where I'm going from. Especially when you're going through a global pandemic which is affecting people all over the world. So when you have a global epidemic, a global virus is affecting people all over the world, when it comes from China, it goes from China to India to Paris to London, and automatically it's going to come to the United States, because number one, it's going to hit New York City first on the East Coast. And when it hits New York City, it's going to hit all of America. So people really have to understand, what can we do about this global epidemic? And now it has become a global epidemic. And now the governor of New York, not the mayor of New York City, but the governor of New York himself actually has the whole world under his control by just having the coronavirus under control. You see how that works? You see how that works? Because Andrew Cuomo has done so much legislation and so much work for this global epidemic. It is crazy how much control now that Andrew Cuomo has over the world, and not just New York City. See how that runs? See how crazy it is? See how much legislative power and legislative control Andrew Cuomo has now more than ever before. Not just from 9/11, not just from the representatives before, but just over a global health epidemic Andrew Cuomo has now more than ever before. And see how much power he can use to his advantage. Whatever, and who his friends are and who his enemies are. So I just want you guys to let you know that I'm gonna hit you back a little bit more about that. I'm in Massachusetts. I'm in Boston. Boston is one of the first original colonies, and Boston is the headquarters of research, Harvard University, MIT, anything technology related, Google, Facebook, Instagram, anything techie, anything young people related, oriented, it's going to be here in Boston, right here, number one. It's going to be here in Boston, Seattle, LA, or San Francisco. And then it's going to hit New York. Of course, it's going to go to New York, but anything young people oriented, anything technology, and if you get technology, you automatically go to the young people. So anything technology oriented, you are automatically going to go to the young people. So as you know, that Facebook was founded here in Boston, Massachusetts, I think at MIT University. Google was founded here in Boston at Harvard, at MIT, and MIT by Steve Jobs and his people, and the founders of Dell and Apple, Michael Dell and Steve Jobs. So those original people had control not just over the Boston area, but also over the whole entire mecca of the world. Now just imagine how much one city, just one little bitty city, can have of the whole entire world. So one city like Boston has changed the world for a period of decades and decades and decades, and probably a new millennial. Now, if Boston can change the world to become a new millennial, and New York City can change the world to become a financial district, imagine how much control somebody like the governor of New York has over the mayor of New York. That's why he's trying to figure out where his legislation, where his jurisdiction lies. And Andrew Cuomo really doesn't need anybody to tell him who he is or what he needs to do. He's the governor. He can do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't need anybody to tell him what he wants to do or who he is or whatever it is. Just like Prince Harry. Prince Harry is a royal, regardless of what people say, whether he lives or whether he died. He is still a royal. He is still His Royal Highness, whether when he is born and when he dies, he is still His Royal Highness Prince Harry of Wales. That's it, Prince Harry of Wales. He's still, from the day he lives to the day he dies, and it doesn't matter if his grandmother, the Queen, Her Majesty, takes away his titles or not. He still is His Royal Majesty, and he still has the right to the throne of England. Now you have to understand this. That's where he has to figure out where his jurisdiction lies and where his power lies. In times like these, where we're going through a global epidemic, leaders, especially leaders, whether they're top leaders or whether they're middle leaders or whether they're bottom leaders, they have to figure out how to control things, how to put things in order and in control, especially in an environment where it's a health virus or a health epidemic or a technology virus or a technology epidemic or something in the world is controlling the world in itself, the economy, the health, the nature of the world, where people have to figure out who is our leaders, what do we do, who do we listen to, what do we say. And at these moments and times, not just the President of the United States, not just the Commander-in-Chief, but the people have to figure out who is their leaders and who do they turn to in times of crisis like these. And it can't just be one person in charge. It has to be an order, a chain of command. It has to be a chain of command, so people can look to and actually establish themselves. Okay, you know what? I see this guy every day on TV. He's a governor. Hey, you know what? Hey, J.B. Pritzker is also the governor of Illinois. But Lori Lightfoot is the mayor of Chicago. And at times, yes, precedent in time to make order and make justice in the world. So I'm here at my bus stop. All right, guys, this is Queen Terry Battle. I love you guys. Peace be with me. I'm going through a lot of change right now, but I'll keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I'm just trying to establish myself. But like I said before, I'm gonna go ahead. I got about two more bus stops to go. Law was established as a precedent in time to make justice, okay? So just because you have money, just because you're a celebrity or you're a mayor of a global city, a city that controls the whole entire world, that is the birthplace of presidents, just because your city is the birthplace of presidents, it doesn't mean that your city has legal authority to control the world. It doesn't work like that. Money doesn't work like that. Money does have influence over law, but money does not control the law. What controls the law is the people, the government, and people are the government, and that's how laws are made. Laws are made by the leaders of the people. Laws are made by the government of the people. And if people don't understand that right now, they'll never understand it. They think, oh, I don't have a voice, I don't have a power. You do have a power. You do have a voice when you come together as a people and form a just government under the law. That's how the Declaration of Independence was signed, and that's how we became a United States of America from these original 13 colonies. So you do have a power and you do have a voice. All it takes is just one vote. That's really all it takes. All it takes is just one vote by the people, of the people, and for the people. And during times like these, it's not the government that controls things. It's not the government that shuts down businesses. It's the people, it's the owners that shut down the businesses in order to protect the government. That's how it works. And I have to understand it to myself. I have to really, really understand it to myself. So, all right, it's the people. It's not money. It's not the government. It's the people that control the government. Read the Declaration of Independence piece by piece. Read it. All right, so this is a quick Terry Battle, guys. I love you. Peace and much love. Blessings.